Yo, before you start your podcast, or if you already have your podcast going, sometimes you may think, listen, how am I going to keep this thing going? How is it going to improve over time? What am I to do about that? How am I supposed to make sure that I'm an authority in the niche that I choose, in the topic of authority that I feel I have, or that people have? It has been proven through me sharing it with people that the thing that I know, the topic that I choose to share on because I'm successful in it. How do I know that I'll be able to be respected and seen as an authority in the arena of podcasting, in that field of expertise that I have? How do I know that I'm going to be able to get ahead of things that could go left when I'm going right? Get ahead of those things that should go this way, but they go that. I'm trying to tell you, nothing is perfect. Nobody has all the answers, but we're going to talk about it today. Welcome to I Am a Podcast Pro with Marion and Joe. Well, I'm not Joe, I'm Marion. Hey there. Listen, I want to talk about pro because you want to make sure that as a pro, that P stands for purposeful. In everything that you do, you want to make sure you're going at it with an intention and a purpose of being on in precision with what you're speaking on, sharing about, delving into, helping people to gain wisdom and understanding about. You want to make sure that you're being purposeful with the things that you're doing. On top of that, you want to make sure you're being resilient. Listen, things don't always go perfectly, but let that perfectness be in that imperfection. I want you to purpose yourself to know that I am enough, I have enough, and I can do enough to make sure that this can be done in perfection. I see that this light is trying to wave. I want to make it a little better for you. I want you to be able to see clearly. For those of you who are just listening, hey, the light was just flickering a little bit, but I fixed that. See, the resilience to understand that I'm going to take the moment and I'm going to fix whatever is in my control and my authority to do so. That, oh, be outstanding. Stand out as your amazingly unique self. Never let the thought come across your mind, there are enough people speaking on the authority that I have. Yeah, there are other people speaking, but there's no one with the uniqueness that you have to speak on that authority that you have. Listen, let's get into it. Welcome to Before I Go Pro Part 2. 3 more levels of pro podcasting. I hope you're ready. I hope that you are ready because we want to make sure that you have that foundation that you need, those levels in place, those tools in your kit to be able to do this podcasting thing with grace. Listen, ease in knowing exactly what you're deciding to do and being okay with the fact that I don't know everything, but I can figure it out. But I know a couple of people that could help me out. I'm just saying. This is episode 2. You want to go back and check out episode 1 where we gave the first 3 layers, those first 3 foundational keys, those first 3 tools, because you want to make sure that you're proficient. that you have provision, and that you're productive. And we unpack that in part one. Here in part two, where we're going to start today, in this moment, in this time, in this space, is being progressive. You want to make sure that as you start your podcast, or as you plan the podcast that you've already started, that you're being progressive. I mean, that things are happening, but they're happening purposefully because you're developing things gradually. You're strategizing, and you're taking things in stages. You're actually taking step by step to get to a purposeful end, which means from the beginning, you want to make a plan. Wow, biblical, huh? You want to make a plan. You want to make sure that you have that plan, your vision for where you're going, the reason why you're doing your mission, for what the substance, what the service is. There it is. What the service is of what you're doing is, whether it's in entertainment or education or just whatever that your platform is, you want to make sure that you're being progressive. Because I believe someone once said, doing things the same way and expecting different results doesn't work. It's kind of insane. So that's why you want to make sure you're being progressive. That's why this pro word is here. Progressive. You want to be progressively working towards something. Even in that working towards, guess what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to assess. Assess what you need to get rid of. What has to go? What needs to be purged, cut away? What definitely cannot proceed on your platform. Your platform as a host, your platform as a guest coming onto someone else's platform to share. You want to make sure you're purging those things that are not serving you, and they're not serving the community. Your community or the community of the platform that you're sharing. You want to, purging is a very important thing to do. You can assess it, like I said, by just knowing it's not serving anyone well, or you found a better way to serve. That's right. You want to know, listen, what do I need to improve? What do I need to make better? What do I need to get better at? This improvement that I'm speaking of is the improvement in yourself, in your knowledge of what you do, because you want to continuously gain more wisdom and understanding. And that wisdom and understanding will bring the experience that you need to speak on your niche as the authority that you are. So you want to make sure that you're always being progressive, that you're always purging what's not serving you or your community well. You want to improve, always improve for the betterment of yourself and others. But then you want to make sure that you assess what needs to be implemented. Now, it doesn't mean that every time you purge something away that it needs to be replaced with something, because it may just be a space for what's already there to have more room to flourish and grow. So by improvement, you always want to pay attention to what's going on around you. That's how I improve. I pay attention to what's going on around. Now, earlier this week, I was invited to a woman's, I guess I would call it a round table, a woman's round table. They were just sharing on their platform about the organization that they've started, the books that they've written, the community services that they offer the community. So they talked about the platform that they're already on, the way that you can also learn more about them in the books that they've written, and as well how they're also willing to share what they have freely with the community. I learned a lot. So I don't sit in others' events or classes or just even watching someone else's podcast. I don't sit and critique them. I watch from a totally different perspective than I used to watch from before I started podcasting. As I sit in the audience, I turn off the natural behavior of most humans to critique. Why didn't they do this? This should have been this way. That should have been that way. I actually internalize everything and I see what I can do better. I walk away with things that I'm like, oh, wow, I do this. I noticed that they did it this way, and that I think I want to change. I want to tweak how I do that so it could be even better. Or I saw them do this and I do that. And sitting in the audience, I didn't really receive it well, or in receiving it well, I mean, I didn't follow along with them well, or it just did not play out as well as intended. I will also let you know I was behind the scenes, so I didn't know the intentions of things, that how they had it planned out. But it just helped me to see things that I need to do better, things that I need to get rid of, things that I need to implement, things in myself that I need to improve. That's what happened when I went to someone else's event and heard them talk on different levels of how they are sharing their gift, their niche, their expertise, their wisdom, their experience, their life experiences. I just, and then in that moment, I realized while I was sitting there, I was like, wow, this is so different. Because now that I do podcasts, I'm always just looking for what can make me better. What should I stop? What should I do? So that's what I mean by progressive. So to be progressive, you first need to know, where are you? Where do you want to go? Make that plan and take strategic steps to get there. Today, start with what you have. Start with make the plan with what you have, and then make the vision for where you're going. All right. The next pro I want to speak on, I want to expound on, is professional. You want to be seen. You want to actually feel and know within yourself. So before anyone can see it externally, it's great when you're deeply rooted and grounded in the understanding of the greatness that you are. Because you've lived through it, you've experienced it, and you can speak on it from a point of success. Success of making it through, success of going through, success of helping others get through. That success of understanding the things that take place and the things that you're going to need to do to make that thing happen for yourself and others. That understanding, that professionalism, that brings a level of authority. It brings a level of standing on your business. This business being your expertise. Listen, professionalism involves consistency. Consistency and a high standard. Consistency in doing that thing. I show up here every week because I'm committed to showing up here every week. I don't worry about how many people are watching in the moment, because in this first year, my first year in podcast, my goal is always build the consistency. Build the consistency in myself before I'm expecting others to have consistency for me. Build a consistency in myself before my expectations are for others to be consistent for me. It's not that I don't have expectations. It's just I'm going to hold myself accountable before I'm asking people to be accountable to me. Sometimes I say things and it tickles me. I'm like, ooh, a little spicy. All right. So you want to make sure that you're being consistent. That consistency in your community, it lets them know that you're reliable. That consistency in making sure that you're addressing the issues of your community lets people know you are reliable. I know that this is going to happen this time, this day, all the time. It's consistent. And guess what? When something happens, they know something happened. I want to make sure this person is okay because they are reliable. What they say they're going to do, where they say they're going to be, how they say they're going to show up, that's what they do. That reliability, it builds your authority. That authority is your professionalism. Now, great. You can look at professional as, oh, I'm going to dress up. I'm going to make sure that I have makeup. I'm going to make sure for men that my hair is well groomed. I'm going to even make sure cologne. Can't nobody smell you if it's not an in-person situation, but you even go that far as to make sure that you smell amazing. But guess what? If you do all of that and you have no authority on what you're speaking about, you're not grooming people to grow. You're not cultivating an environment for people to get better. You're not being the iron to help sharpen other iron. That is where professionalism goes past the aesthetics into the content, the value that you bring. That's where you want to make sure you're being consistent and dependable. Professionalism, people want to know that they can depend on you. If they invite you to come and speak at their event, you're going to show up. And guess what? Even the mic isn't working, you're going to project. You're going to get out there with the people and just stand in the middle of the room and make sure, listen, I still need to get your passion and your desire is so contagious when you speak that everyone in the room is engrossed, even though all of the things around you may be going wrong. The lights may not be working. The sound system may be down. Your projector may not be working. So therefore, you don't have your slides. But guess what? If you're professional, the show must go on. The show must go on. You still have to execute with grace. A professional will have all of these things go wrong and still have in their heart, in their mind, the concern of the community over their comfort. The concern of getting the message out over their comfort. because that's comfortable. I got a mic, so I don't need to project that much because the mic is going to carry. So I can conserve that energy. I don't have, you have lights so you can be seen clearly. So I can conserve some of my energy. You're going to have to, as a professional, you're going to have to know when more energy needs to be poured into different buckets to execute with grace under pressure. That professionalism is very important. You want to make sure that you're being professional, and it helps to achieve a high quality of results for others. When you're a professional, you are concerned with the results of others, achieving a high quality of results. That you're impressing and inspiring others to be a better version of themselves, a higher version of themselves, a truer version of themselves, a greater them. That's what a professional does. A professional removes themselves from the table, and they put the needs of others ahead of them. There have been times when I have had upset stomach, headache, back kind of hurt because I worked out a little too hard in the gym. Those are not on my list of importance that outweigh my commitment to serving. I look at it as service when I choose to turn on my camera, turn on this light, set a time, write out the outline of what I'm going to be speaking on, and then expound on it on purpose, with a purpose. That's a professional. That's what it's going to take to run or have a successful platform that you're proud of. Now, listen, I want to say successful. Successful is not for me. For me. I'll say it again. One more time. For me. Successful podcasting is not solely found in views and likes. Do you know that that content could sit there for a while before the algorithm picks it up and gets it in front of the community that's waiting to hear your voice? So you don't want to focus externally, you want to focus internally and make sure that the professional you that you want to be viewed as, that you are, is who you show up as. Because it starts with believing in yourself. Yes, it starts with believing in yourself. Hold on, and believing in someone else and helping them with their mission. Let me say it this way. If you're not willing to click like on somebody else's video, why would you think somebody would be willing to click like on yours? If you're not willing to subscribe to someone else's channel that you always watch, or you've watched one episode and you're like, oh my goodness, that was good. I learned something. I walked away with something that I could apply. I walked away with something that I learned about myself and the way that I communicate, the way that I relate, the way that I do business, the way that I need to do business. That it's just, if you learn anything, why is it so hard for you to subscribe to someone else's channel, follow, like, leave a comment. So you want to make sure that you're being the person that you're going to ask people to be for you. So it can start with, you know what? I'm going to help somebody who has a platform. I know that this event is coming up. Let me call and see if I can volunteer and help them in any way. I'm telling you right now, going early and just volunteering to set up tables, you'll learn so much. You'll learn it as if it was your own event. So when it's time to throw your event, you'll know to ask, are the tables circle or square? So you can make sure that you get the right tablecloth. Something that simple. I walked away with that. Something that simple doing someone's event. Why? Because she ordered the tables, but then she went to a party store and got the supplies. She never ever asked, what size are the tables? Are they round? Are they square? Are they just something that minute? Makes a big difference. When you now have this round table with this little square sitting in the middle and the table is not as finished and polished as you would hope it would be, because now people have splinters in their elbows. Something I learned, something I took away. So just something that simple is something I've learned. What's the biggest thing I've learned is to know your outline, to have it on more than one device, but to really be ready with it. Literally break everything down to this is area 1. These are my points. This is area 2. These are my points. This is area. Keep it simple. Doing too much will have you out in left field looking around going, hey, wait a minute. What am I doing over here now? That means that last pro, you want to be proactive, not reactive. Yeah. Proactive. You want to anticipate things. You don't just want to respond to things. Speaking on response, proactive, not just responding. You want to make sure that when things happen, you don't get emotional. You don't go off of past experiences. That you keep what the goal was in mind for why you were there. Therefore, that first P, you make sure you're being purposeful in what you're saying, what you're doing. Purposeful. So if you already know the purpose for why you're there, always divert things back to that purpose. What do I mean? You're sitting there in someone's show and you're actually the guest. And the host, you've already told the host, listen, I know this is going on with me. I'm going through this brutal, knockout, drag down divorce. And everybody knows about it. But I'm still going through it. It's still quite tender and it still hurts. So I just like, if you get a general question, cool. You go too far in depth, just please don't do that, because I'm still going through it. That still hurts a lot. And I'm not ready to share that. Do you know you have a right to say, I'm not ready to share that? And guess what? Cameras get to rolling, and that's right where they go. For them, they're going for the money shot over your request. actually damaging the relationship that they could have built with you as a guest to come back and speak on it when you were ready. If they were smart, they could have just said, listen, you're not ready this time, but when you're ready, would you mind this being the platform that you come back to? I would love it to have you back to speak on that because I was very interested. There are some things going on I did, but I will respect your wishes. Simple, right? No, what do they do? Go for the jugular. Guess what? Even though it's painful, even though it hurts, even though it's uncomfortable, it's sensitive, and you mad because you know you told them, don't do that. And they do it anyway. So what do? Square up your shoulders and literally tell the truth. I asked you not to do that. So we're not going to do that. What I'm here to talk about is have your script ready. Already know your mission and your purpose for why you're there. And when you divert back to that, be very intentional. Look them dead in the eye. And then proceed on the topic at hand. Listen, I got a new album coming out. That's what we hear about. On this album, I discuss so much. My favorite song from the album, the one that I think everybody, see how you just, we weren't going to do that. Go ahead and say. We want so that later, okay, so what I mean by go ahead and say exactly what your stance was in terms of, I thought we agreed we weren't going to do that. So that later, if they go back to tell the story, it's not said that you said it a different way. I mean, she said, but she's saying it was all right. No, because you just said in front of the camera. You set the record straight. Don't be afraid to be proactive and set the record straight so that down the line, the story should not get misconstrued. And if it does, run the tape back. That's how you want to make sure you're being proactive. You don't want to give fear, misunderstanding, doubt. Just say it. If you don't know what's going on, say, I don't understand the question. Like, that was funny, but I don't get it. You laugh, but I'm not laughing because I don't understand. And it's okay not to know. It is okay not to know. You just want to make sure you're being proactive in the expected changes that are coming. And those proactive expected changes that you have are things that you can apply in moments of being unsure. Going back to what your mission and your vision was when you're not sure. Plainly asking and saying, honestly, I don't understand what you're asking. Can you give me a clearer question? I just want to make sure I'm answering your question accurately. Can you ask it again? Don't be afraid to say. Don't be afraid that if you start rambling, be proactive and say, yo, I got off topic. Give me that question again. I want to make sure I'm getting this. You just be intentional in what you're doing. All right, so those are the 3 pros of Before I Go Pro Part 2. Listen, if anything that has been shared on this platform has helped you, we're asking for your help. We need your help. We need your help to get the word out. We need your help to help the algorithm, to help the algorithm pick us up and get us in front of more people that need to hear how they can present themselves as a host, a guest, or a presenter on their platform. Because you don't have to wait to get picked up. You can do this yourself. So we're going behind the mic to groom the people behind the mic, to help them to understand how to do this. And we just need your help to get in front of as many eyes as possible. So if you could like, share, and subscribe right here on YouTube, I Am a Podcast Pro, or whatever platform that you're listening or viewing us on, please don't hesitate to share our content. Please follow us on all social media platforms at I Am a Podcast Pro. You know, Pro, P, purposeful in everything that you do. Are resilient, because it ain't going, what don't kill you make you stronger. I'm just saying. Oh, outstanding. Stand out as the amazing, unique you that you are. And please send us emails. We want to hear your questions, your concerns about being a podcaster, about being a host, about presenting on a platform, about creating your own platform to take on others' platforms as a guest. All right. You can email us at iamapodcastpro@gmail.com. Thank you so much for taking the time to invest in yourself. You got it. Let's get it.